Well, everyone, our wild and crazy week begins today. This is when we're going to start hearing a lot of the news. We're going to see probably a big bump in volume today. And with that is going to come some wild swings in the charts. And actually, we're starting to get some hints about what will be covered in certain reports today. We're going to talk about that in this video. Also want to talk about this big setup for ADA that's been building for quite some time. Need to discuss how things are currently structured in the market heading into today's news. And do want to talk about one thing that I did here as well. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So we're seeing a little bit of red to start the day, and it's not really surprising. We're just seeing a lot of what we've seen earlier in the early part of the week. We've seen a little bit of long leverage liquidations. We've seen some profit taking. We're seeing a lot of retail squirming. Kind of is what it is. Again, the big things that are going to cause this boost are this morning's GDP report, which is actually coming at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern. Then in the middle of the day, again, just to remind everybody, we have the conclusion of the FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell is going to be speaking at about, can never remember if it's 1 or 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, but kind of early afternoon. And then obviously we have the crypto report that's going to drop at some point today, which I do need to mention some things about here as well. But ADA is just building this structure right now, big descending wedge with the target down around 72, 73 cents at the very tip of this. Understand that with the volume we're going to see today and how leverage is shaking up, it's possible that we actually breach this one way or the other. All right. This isn't to guarantee your financial advice or anything like that. Just understand that probably going to see some pretty wild swings today. Now, that being said, I actually did close my long position I had in terms of ADA. Just took some profit, but I immediately reopened my long position. All right. Probably could have opened this slightly lower, but that's what I did. All right. So I'm just kind of prepping for the volatility today that might come. If we hit and we surge, awesome. If we drop, well, then I'm glad I did what I did. So now that being said, what I do want to mention is that there are reports that today's crypto report will actually focus on regulatory frameworks, not strategic BTC reserve plan, which is kind of disappointing. And maybe that's where we've gotten a little bit of the red to start the day. We were obviously hoping for some sort of mention surrounding this. So we'll see if this report or if these reports are in fact accurate or not as the day progresses. But obviously that's a little bit of a blow to the crypto market. That being said, BTC still just kind of putzing around, doing its thing, actually building kind of a big bull flag here. So very, very wide one, guys, with the bottom of this being down around 113 or so. Obviously the top of this being around 120. But again, probably something else that is going to see some volatility as the day progresses. Just want to show you guys right now, they're trying to just hammer price down really hard. All right. I didn't look at the numbers, but we have seen massive surges in short interest in the crypto market. Look at how it's filled in terms of BTC. This is a very tight zone. All right. Basically 117 through 118.5. And right now, BTC is actually sitting towards the top end of this. So maybe we can get a little bit of a push to the upside. Just obviously need some confidence and some good news. In terms of ADA, same thing. Okay. We did liquidate some of these longs this morning, like I just talked about. But look at how thick this short leverage is. Right now, there is a lot of entities that are trying to suppress the market and trying to beat things down. And what I will say is that if things don't go their way, you could very easily see wicks up to 85, 87 cents or so. And not saying that's going to happen for sure, but that's kind of where we're at. One thing I do want to point to here as well is we created a gold quadruple top. How often does that happen? I just thought that was kind of wild. Not a whole lot to really talk about in terms of gold as of late. Actually, we're still kind of waiting for a gold drop here. That might be the moment again where you see some capital shuffling towards the crypto market, the stock market. So just obviously pay attention to that. But what I do want to mention here as well is, again, another big day of institutional buying. Just very, very consistent. $218 million worth of Ethereum purchased, $79 million worth of BTC. $79 million worth of BTC purchased, really just Van Eck and BlackRock. So that's been kind of smaller as of late. Ethereum has still been larger. We're up to 18 straight days now. Yeah, 18 straight days. So if today is another day where institutional money is actually buying Ethereum, then that's going to tie the record. So that's some pretty big stuff. Now, what What I do want to talk about here is actually this formation that's building a big bullish cup and handle pattern, which is eyeing a potential $4 breakout. That's a pretty exciting thing. So this is actually referencing the big cup and handle that's been building all the way since back in 2021. And what it's talking about is actually the downside target of this, the extension to the downside is around 67 cents or so. So just understand that some analysts are projecting that we could go down to 67 cents before getting this, massive push to the upside in the later part of the year. Again, none of these have to play out perfectly. Nobody knows what's going to happen for sure. But biggest thing I will say again is don't be fooled by any of the short-term stuff right now. It's all temporary. Okay, we've completely reset on the daily stochastic RSI. Right now, you guys can't see the score. It's behind my box here, but we are at a 0. Okay, we don't tend to stay at a 0 for long. We've had a couple times where it's been maybe like a week or so where we've been bottoming. For example, back here in February of 2025, where we got a little bit of a boost following that, a little bit of a bottoming period right here in the early part of June, got a little bit of a bump off of that as well. So maybe that's what we're doing right now is we're kind of bottoming in this trend. We're just below our lows that we saw from back on July 24th. So definitely didn't want to set a lower low, but it just, again, kind of is what it is. So right now we're sitting at $158 billion in daily trading volume. Wouldn't surprise me if we eclipse $2 billion today. All right. So, or 200 billion. Jeez, I can't speak, guys. So that's kind of where we're at. So we'll see how the day progresses. Pretty good spot to set up for the day. But biggest thing I will say is don't get emotional. Don't freak out regardless of what happens. If we get a moon candle, awesome. If we get a bearish candle, understand that I will be doing some accumulating. So hope everybody's got their ducks in a row and they're set to go. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.